This video is being recorded even as President Trump is meeting with Xi Jinping, General Secretary of CCP, and it is hoped that they would arrive at some sort of a free trade agreement deal. Even if not every line item is confirmed or agreed to, much of it will be, especially involving the rare earths. And what is the reason? We've already explained to you that United States has realized that it depends upon China a lot, even for its weapons, the ingredients that go into building its weapons, as well as the rare earths. Like I told you, that one F-35 needs close to 400 kilograms or 920 pounds of rare earth material to build only one F-35. So it's a matter of conjecture that, should there be escalation and a war of sorts between US and China, very soon US will find out that it does not have the ingredients to build new weaponry. So this could be one reason why the United States has backed down in its trade war against China. That could be one reason. But then the US has many arrows in its quiver, and one such arrow is the peg with the Hong Kong dollar. You see, Hong Kong was an independent entity. It had its own democratic system, and it was not part of China. But between COVID and now, China has completely annexed Hong Kong, and now it's supposedly integrated completely into Hong Kong, and therefore they have no need to essentially have the Hong Kong dollar. Wait a minute, you ask. Today, if any kind of transaction, buying or selling, has to happen with China, especially buying goods from China, you need to pay using the United States dollars, and the US dollars will find their way to the Hong Kong bank, and then from the Hong Kong bank, something magic happens and the money gets converted into Yuan and goes to wherever it is that you want to pay. So if the Hong Kong dollar were to be taken out of this whole equation, would then the Yuan not collapse? Because we all know nobody takes Yuan seriously, although lately many energy deals between especially Saudi Arabia and China and Iran and China are taking place in Yuan, or I should say more specifically the digital renminbi, which is also convertible into gold, although details are not clear whether the entire thing is convertible into gold or only a part of it is convertible into gold. I'm doing research on that. I'll have a separate monologue on that how much of a recognition has the digital renminbi got following all these trades that are supposed to have taken place between Saudi Arabia and China and Iran and China. So I'll keep you posted on that, probably a separate monologue. Here I'm going to take a look at the special arrangement that has been in place since 1983 between United States and Hong Kong, assuming there was an entity. Now that Hong Kong is fully integrated, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, which is the one that was the party on Hong Kong side, nobody knows whether it's still active or it is completely now absorbed into Bank of China, which is the equivalent of Reserve Bank of India in India. So let's take a quick look at what that relationship is and what are the conditions under which the United States would take the Hong Kong dollar off of the peg. And if that happens, what will happen? I mean, certainly there will be a global catastrophe because suddenly China would lose its control over dollars, and then the world would have to deal with the yuan, which they don't trust. So China will suffer a lot. But is that something like a Brahmastra that the US is keeping in its back pocket just in case? So what are the conditions that would lead up to it? How did this agreement come into place? All this and more in this monologue. Sorry to have such a long preamble. I just wanted to make sure you understand the implications of this Hong Kong dollar and also where things are headed. So I have a small infographic as always. So I'm going to show you the implications and what is really going on right now. And please like our video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go.
I like the treatment here. It's very relaxing and being with the nature.
The most powerful facet that I've experienced here is the power of human touch.
The linked exchange rate system, LERS. Since 1983, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is obliged to keep the currency within a narrow band of 7.75 to 7.85 Hong Kong dollar per 1 US dollar. That's what is called as pegging. And what happens for this, there are 4 reasons for this peg, and I'll tell you all the 4. The first thing is that it is the financial stability. The LERS is the cornerstone of stability, successfully anchoring the economy through major crises such as the 1998 7 Asian financial crisis and the 2008 global financial crisis. Second, investor confidence. The peg provides instant credibility and predictability for global investors, signaling a rules-based system and free capital flow. By the way, much of the foreign direct investment into China is believed to have gone through this route, meaning through Hong Kong, and people still cling on to the belief that if they want to ever take out all their investment from China, that they would actually get it back in dollars and HKMA would give. How true this is, only time will tell, because such an attempt has not yet been made, but it could happen. Some company could say, okay, I'm winding up my operations in China and this is the money I have made and parked here. I would like to take it out of it in dollars, then see what China does. Now, monetary discipline. By surrendering its monetary policy to the United States Fed, Hong Kong avoids local political interference in interest rates, which boosts foreign capital confidence. By the way, after the annexation of Hong Kong by China, it is believed that much of the critical stuff that used to be run out of Hong Kong is now being run out of Singapore. And Singapore is not something that China can annex. It is not contiguous to it. So that is one of the things. It is Hong Kong's loss is Singapore's gain. However, China believes that things are normal, and we'll see the truth of that in a few years from now. Trade facilitation. Pegging to the USD, the world's dominant trade currency, simplifies transactions and reduces currency risk for businesses. What other currency is pegged to the United States dollar? The Saudi Arabian dinar, among others. So these are all people who are totally pegged to the USD. And if USD goes up, their thing will go up. And also if the interest rate United States goes up, then their interest rates also have to go up, because they have to stay in sync. Now, the great debate is, what is it that Hong Kong's dollar is doing now that Hong Kong is a completely integrated entity of China? Now, what does this mean, and how is it going to play out in the future? So if you take a look at the Hong Kong's top trading partners, again, I told you this, right? The magic happens that everybody is dealing with dollars. Those dollars go to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong it goes into China. Sometimes even the shipping receipts will come as if it was shipped out of Hong Kong. And if you look at the people who are doing trading with Hong Kong, the numbers are as follows. Mainland China's trading partner is 55%. Then you have ASEAN 10%, European Union 8%, United States 7%, and the rest of the world 20%. And of that, I'm sure India is at least 5% or so. Now, what are the mounting risks for this HKD system? Beyond economics, critics point to political and structural risks that challenge the peg's long-term viability and rationale. What is the political risk? First of all, with US sanctions on some officials, there are fears that the peg itself could be a geopolitical weapon, though this is considered a remote nuclear option, hence the word Brahmastra. Reduced autonomy. Now there is no one country, two systems, it's one country, one system. So the peg in theory could be withdrawn if Beijing no longer finds it expedient. How does that come about? Well, more countries could start directly dealing with Yuan. Perhaps Beijing may then say, okay, we don't need the Hong Kong dollar anymore. And Beijing in turn could just completely ban the HK dollar. But then what is the alternate mechanism that will be put in place? I have no clue, and China hasn't really shown its hand on that. So the main reason for the existence of Hong Kong dollar is that the Chinese renminbi, Chinese yuan is interchangeably called renminbi, is not fully convertible. And I've told you this, that China has capital controls in place, that you can take in as many dollars as you want, but when it comes to taking out, it gives it to you in trickles. That is the big problem that tells you that China has almost run out of all its dollar denominated values. So the global capital, which is US dollars, always finds its way through Hong Kong dollar, which is itself a fully convertible peg, and then it goes to mainland China, where the RMB, the renminbi, is non-convertible. The current status is that HKMA maintains a war chest of foreign exchange reserves to defend the peg against any speculative attacks, and the size of that is over 400 billion US dollars in foreign reserves. Now, if you take a look at how well Hong Kong Monetary Authority defends the band, remember, between 7.75 and 7.85, you can see here from January to October 2025 that in January it was 7.81 or so, went up to 7.82, came down to 7.8, but it has been hitting the top edge, which is the 7.85 band, and so far the HKMA, Hong Kong Monetary Authority, has managed to keep it up there and satisfy all the requirements. But for how much longer is this going to happen? If the trade talks fail between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, would then Trump decide to act and unpeg the Hong Kong dollar? Because at some point of time it's going to be too late, and the value, the effectiveness of having this peg will be useless. So I'm just curious when the United States is going to use this or weaponize the HKD. We'll have to wait and see. It could be also said that China could say, well, we are just taking this whole thing, it doesn't make any sense anymore, we'll have to deal with the renminbi. And will the world deal with the renminbi? That's the other question. But then if China is the sole manufacturer of 90 or 95% of the products ever made, what choice does the world have? So all these difficult questions for which there are no easy answers. Let's wait and see how this plays out. Please put in by way of comments what you think of this monologue. We will try to get you more and more such useful informational monologues based on infographics and slide decks, and it's our commitment to you that we'll give you things that will actually affect us in day-to-day life. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.